Hey guys, good day. It's Phil Eichinger. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for your patience. I know it's been a couple of months since I've gotten a video out. No excuses. Been busy and spending a lot of time actually on recovery stuff and the new, the recovering housing community we're trying to put together. So, it hasn't been laziness or time wasted, but still no excuse. I want to make sure that, hell, for my own edification and my own selfish reasons, I need to do more videos than every couple of months to build up the channel and build up the subscribers and be more impactful. So, I hate to start with an apology, but I certainly will take ownership for not having a video out. Several people have asked, and so we will do more going forward. You have my commitment on that. Number two, I'm not a doctor. I don't give medical advice. I don't have a degree in anything medical. I just share my opinions, and my opinions are based on my own personal experience and based on what other folks that are willing to share with me. Some of the things that folks that I talk with share with me. So. And are kind enough to do so. So that's that in terms of my disclaimer. I just try to kind of tell what it was like, what happened, and what it's like today. So that's it on the disclaimer side. What I thought I would do today is I thought I would do Q&A, do a Q&A session. With the amount of people that contact me, it's really hard to get everybody and get back to everybody in a timely fashion, and I hate that, but at the same time I understand that if multiple people have the same questions, maybe we can kind of whack them together here by doing a little Q&A. So. So I like this because it's near and dear to my heart. On Ativan, 1 milligram 3 times a day, and Ambien to sleep. I'm 15 months off of Ativan and Ambien, which was my combination for general anxiety disorder as prescribed. Like so many of us, we took our medications directly and absolutely as prescribed. Most of the folks that I talk with weren't looking to party or get high or recreationally do things. They just wanted some relief from anxiety, depression, panic, and just wanted to feel, God forbid, normal. And so they went to doctors and got prescribed medication based on what they were told was their ailment, and took them exactly as directed. And never varied. Certainly, in many cases, hit tolerance and had to be increased. It was a situation where people were just looking to feel normal and got trapped. So it sucks. I am 15 months off Ativan and Ambien, and I'm getting progressively worse the last 2 months. So we're gonna really stick to the benzo side here. Obviously, Ambien's not a benzo by definition, but it affects the similar and same GABA receptors. So to me, any of the Z drugs, I certainly throw into that bucket with the benzos. Obviously, the traditional benzos being Valium, Xanax, Klonopin, and Ativan. So when did you get better, or when did you start getting better, or when did you feel better, or something to that paraphrasing? And I'll tell you, what I did was I needed to change the game. I needed to change the rules of the game, because I used to focus early on withdrawing from benzodiazepines in terms of symptoms and time. And they're the two biggest things I had to change, which helped me in my survival. Number one, in terms of symptoms, it certainly takes the cake, benzos, for a number of symptoms. And, they range, and we've gone through them ad nauseum into the hundreds. And whether it's muscle twitching or eyes twitching or restless leg or deep depression or DP or DR or intense anxiety or heart palpitations, fluttering heart, panic attacks, brain zaps. I mean, you know, it's muscle pain, body temperature regulation, burning skin, numbing feet and hands. I mean, this stuff takes the cake, man. It is unbelievable. And the interesting thing about the benzos is, you know, some will come for a while and then leave and then really frustrate you by coming back. But I think even more acute is the fact that they go away after a period of time and new ones come, and you get a whole new set of new ones. So of course you think you're going nuts. You go to the medical doctor, you go to the hospital, you go to the ER, you're checked for everything from a heart attack to cancer to liver disease to kidney functions to cortisol problems to adrenal problems to heart valves to blood pressure. And what I realized over time is everything kept coming back negative and frustrating me, was that this was benzodiazepine withdrawal. This is benzo withdrawal. This is getting off anxiety medication for what I thought was a legitimately prescribed or diagnosed problem, GAD, general anxiety disorder. So, what I did, folks, to change that was I got away from the symptoms. So the first thing I did is I got away from the symptoms. And every time a symptom would come up, I would switch my thinking, because we're rewiring our brain, neuroplasticity, we're fixing our brain. And I would think about a little man with, you know, a little electric drill bit in my head, literally rewiring an electric board. That's what I would picture, rewiring an electric board. Because when I got into the symptoms, I would just drive myself crazy. And then, you know, I think support groups are great online, and I like them. Where I shy away from them is when it becomes symptom after symptom after symptom after symptom. Because I am a hypochondriac, I will give myself or think I have everything that I read someone else having. And I will have it in a couple of days. It's just the way I am. So I tend to just go more to the groups that stay very, very positive, and I go for individual folks like me, who have recovered, that just have a very positive disposition about it. And I want to talk about the solutions and getting better as opposed to the physical symptoms. The physical symptoms become a story for me, and they encumber my recovery. And so I need to get away from that. And like I said, think of a little man rewiring my brain, because every symptom that I have is now, to me getting better, me healing, my brain getting the homeostasis and recovering again. So I think that's real important, guys. That's the first thing that really helped me in terms of feeling better and getting better during the windows and waves, the repeat of the old symptoms and the new symptoms coming on. So I got away from the symptoms. I felt them. I learned to embrace them. And I actually learned to love them, based on the fact that I knew if I was getting hit hard with a bad symptom, that was overtime work. You know, with the mask on, really, you know, really rewiring with the fire hose there, really rewiring things back together. And in the long run, that was going to make me better, which we do get better. I am almost there, and I am better than I've ever been in my entire life. So I am here as a proof statement to you that we do get better. So that's the first thing when it came to Ativan, Ambien, and you know, the benzo family. Number two was time. I got off of time. I used to constantly want to, not after I was done comparing symptoms, compare time. You know, where were you at 6 months? Where are you at 9 months? Here's how I'm feeling at a year. You know, what about this person that's 7 years in and it's not better? Well, they're very unique. You know, but not to me. I mean, that would assume, then I would tell myself that I am going to be 7 years. So every time I realize, counterintuitive, right? It's an oxymoron. It's like jumbo shrimp and political intelligence, right? Rapid City, South Dakota, adult male, silent thunder, right? It doesn't make sense. Whenever I would think about time and set a time limit to want to feel better or get better, I automatically extended my time. Do you understand what I'm saying? Every time I tried to put a time limit or a time on my recovery, instead of staying into the present moment, I extended the time, and it lasted longer. It was a self-fulfilling prophecy. How did I get away from time and worrying about time? You stay in the present moment, right? If you want to watch the video on here about 4 things to overcoming anxiety, I give you what worked for me to keeping me present, right? Depression is upsetting to me, past, regret. Anxiety, projecting the future, worry. But if I stay right here, right now, in this chair, talking to you right now, nothing can get me. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm not anxious. I'm not depressed. I'm fine. And whether it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 that you do, or whether it's anchor points as you're driving your car or taking a shower, you know, any of the things we talk about in that video, I recommend to you because they'll help you stay present and stay away from projecting time and projecting symptoms. So you would expect me to give this answer here of, well, let's talk about my burning skin and how long it lasted. Or let's talk about when the intense anxiety started to settle down. Or let's talk about the crippling depression at 9.5 months. That doomed me to more symptoms and more time, okay? Because that's you know, who we are, many of us. It's certainly who I am. So it's not the answer that you're going to expect here, but it's an answer that I found to be very, very helpful. And that is, move away from symptoms, picture the little man, you're repairing, you're getting better, and embrace the symptoms as, if these symptoms weren't happening, I'd be delayed, I wouldn't be getting better. The fact that I'm having these harsh symptoms right now, whatever the 106 of them are, or what out of the packet, how many of them are, this is actually me getting to homeostasis and repairing my brain. I'm grateful for that. I embrace it, and I'm actually happy about it. Complete flip-flop of the way our brains traditionally work. And then the timing, I had to get rid of it. Depression, sadness, past. Anxiety, projection, future. Looking at time, comparing myself to others, extended my time, and actually was doing much more damage than I thought in terms of helping me. I stopped counting after a while. I mean, I had a vague understanding. I knew I could find where I was at in terms of the process up to these 30 months. But I took it in the present moment, and I used that video to stay in the present moment. All right, cool on that one. That's my answer. Not what most people would give, I'm sure, but it's the one that helped me immensely. And as you practice that, right, as you practice those things, you'll find that you begin to recover faster. But it's hard. When the cloud comes through and wants to get you into symptoms in time, look at it, understand, and then flip back into the present moment doing the exercise that we've been taught ourselves to do, which are on the other tape. Don't attach to it. Let it go through, and you know what? The cloud will blow through and the sun will be out again, and you'll be on your way. All right? CBD oil. This one comes up quite a bit. Look, these are tough questions for me to answer, much like the kratom answer, which will come up later. I have a predisposition to addiction, so anything that's going to help me relax or feel better, you know, I'd be going from an eyedropper of CBD to a gallon in 0 to 60. So this is all dangerous and a slippery slope for me. Some people it's not. I will tell you that I know folks that have had great success with CBD oil, and it's helped them, especially with one of our chronic problems in recovery and folks that suffer from anxiety, and that is insomnia and RLS. And so, you know, more power to them. Most folks that use CBD oil that I talk to on phone calls or Skypes or live meetings are glad they found it. So, you know, and the explanation is pretty simple, and that is, you know, I'd rather take some CBD oil than a psychological drug that is screwing with my GABA receptors, my opium receptors, literally changing my brain paths and my brain chemistry and taking me out of homeostasis and putting me on synthetic chemicals. So, you know, the question I always ask, and the reason I tried CBD oil is, as you are when you're really struggling. What's the lesser of two evils? You know, when you're just at the point where you can't take it anymore, you want to choose the lesser of two evils. And for a lot of folks, and me included, CBD oil is better. The downside of CBD oil to me is because I am, like I said, predisposed to addiction. Once you kind of get familiar with the 250, 500, 750, and 1,000 milligrams and how you want to take it, be it in drops, a gummy bear, a soft drink, you know, you need to know what you're taking. And what I found is I needed to take more than most people. Go figure, right? So, I would have to take a lot of the 1,000 milligram, and that's cost prohibitive because you know what this stuff costs to refine. And so it got super expensive. Then that could preclude it from some folks. And number two, I speak for a living and give speeches and do public presentations. I'm not at a desk all day. If I was at a desk, I might have stuck with the CBD oil a little bit better. But for me, and this is only for me, same thing happens to me with melatonin. The reason I can't use melatonin and I get so jealous of the people that have effective sleep with it is I get brain fog. I get hungover. I get a fogginess in the brain where I'm forgetful, and I'm just cloudy from it. And so that kind of disqualified it from me. But as I said, you know, for me it's no good, or it didn't work. But I shouldn't say it's no good. For me it was effective. But the things that came with it kind of dismissed it from being in my repertoire. So there's that. 3. This is a good one, man. I am so embarrassed by all of this. That one I get. You know, I had to redefine what embarrassed was, right? I mean, for me, embarrassed used to be wearing the wrong outfit, or like not matching socks, or being late for a meeting. You know, that was embarrassing. My daughter and I talked about this past week. We've been to, because I'm working with so many young people, you know, I work with primarily, not work with, I talk to people my age, 53 I am, and then because of that age group I'm in, a lot of them have kids in their early 20s, late teens, early 20s, so I end up talking to them. We've been to 31 funerals in Philadelphia area here this summer, sometimes 3 a week. And that really got my head in gear. You know, I'm 15 years sober. I quit alcohol June 4th of 2004 by the grace of God, one day at a time. And yeah, I do work a 12-step program. I was asked that last night on a IM. I do, not just for quitting drinking, but to learn how to live, feel emotions, have feelings, and hold boundaries. So it's a huge piece of my life. But you know, the thing is I am no longer embarrassed about any of this. What I found, see, here's the problem with us. If I can speak in generalities, is you know, the reason that I suffered from anxiety and depression was because I am shame-based, guilt-laden, and my opinion of myself doesn't matter, or didn't matter. My opinion of myself was what you thought of me. If you were happy with me, then I could be happy. If you were upset with me, God forbid, I would have to play that in my tape and worry about you being mad at me for 3 weeks at a time. You know, you tie your shoe wrong and you take the baseball bat out and like to beat yourself over the head 30 times. The crime never matches the punishment. And that's where so much of my anxiety and depression came from, and that's from growing up and never having any boundaries, not knowing what was going to happen next, having no boundaries, and the boundary issue ended up being a killer to me, and it cost me the most important thing in my life. So I am unbelievably sensitive to the boundary issues. You got to get that one fixed. But you know how we are. We'll do anything for anybody. We'll give the shirt off our back to anybody. We will give our last nickel to anybody, and we will do anything we can. Number one, because it makes us feel good, gives us worth, And number two, it's where we get our self-esteem from, right? Is making other people happy, people pleasing, which led to so much of our anxiety, depression, our GAD, and our need to take benzos, opioids, and in my case, drink, as much as I did. So, we need to be able to ask for help. We ask for help worse than anybody else out there, and it's our DNA, and it's who we are, and it's our environment that and past trauma that hurt us there. I ask for help now, and I was so thrilled at the response I got. I sat with my best friend. I sat with my owner of my company and told him what was about to happen 30 months ago when I was going to get off all prescriptions after being on Ativan, Ambien, and antidepressants for 25 years. And I told him what was going to happen because I'm in the community. I've done my homework, and at that time I've been 12 and a half years sober. So I talked to a lot of people in not only AA but in the NA community as well. So and they loved me like you wouldn't believe, and I couldn't love myself. I mean, they were unbelievable. And we always make a big deal about it. Then when we actually do it, it's like making amends in a fourth step. When we actually do it, that we get forgiven, and it was never even close to what we had envisioned it in our minds. I couldn't believe the outpouring of love and respect that people had for me. I mean, it was a rite of passage, and it was a love of me and a self-respect of me, where these people changed my ideas about myself. And so if the three words is what so many people say. I couldn't say the three words and it almost killed me. Well, I couldn't say the three words and it almost killed me. Elton John's got a new movie out, and it's funny. He says in the movie, he was going to drown himself. He was going to get a high. His addiction was so bad, and just drown himself because it wouldn't disturb people and it'd be simple, and he thinks he would, lose oxygen and just float to the bottom of the pool and have no problem with it, right? He would rather do that than ask for help. That, again, people pleaser, right? Ryan Donnelly, who's my hero of recovery, and just a lifesaver for me. He's coming up on his 1 year. He passed a year ago, and those in our community, around here, he's Jersey, I'm Philly. We love him. He touched so many people, gave up so much of his time. He passed because of something different, an issue with his health that was not related to addiction or anything, and he was a hero. But man, he told me the story once of his his planned suicide and writing a note and having it all laid out because he was so miserable and couldn't say the three words. Chris Herron, who people know from the Boston Celtics and the Herron Foundation and everything he's doing up in Massachusetts with his society, he actually got to the point where he was going to call his wife and have her tell the kids that he died in a car accident, so they wouldn't have to be exposed to his disease and how much he was filled of self-loathing and self-hate. You think about this. And it's because the arrogance, the ego, the people-pleasing, not wanting to upset anybody, do for others but never ask for help for ourselves, the steps that these people who are heroic in our community, I mean, they are unbelievable in terms of what they do for the recovery community to help. They wouldn't have been around unless they said the three words. And the three words were what? I need help. I need help. My life changed the day I said I need help. And I went to my boss, my best friend, my kids. My kids are older, so a lot of you guys don't have this opportunity. But my kids were in my mid-20s. They've been around me in my alcoholism and then in my recovery for 15 years. So they're real adept to what I've always talked about and how I try to live. And so when I went with them with this medication stuff, I mean, they were fantastic. They were fantastic. And my relationship, for those of you who know me, with my kids and best friends and relationships and partner is they're stronger than they've ever been. I mean, they're unbelievable. I am so blessed, and I have the greatest relationship because I asked for help. So if you've got problems with your mom and dad, or if you've got issues with your sister, or if you've got issues with other family members, call me. I'll be your family. You know, if you need help, say I need help, and deal with this. It's life or death, guys. It really is. And life, here's what I'll tell you that I want you to know. It gets so much better. It's unbelievable. I'm 53 years old. I've only been living for the last 2.5 years fully, right? I lived a good life sober off alcohol. But I'll tell you, beyond your wildest dreams is what they tell us. It is unbelievable. I feel, I have emotions, I hold boundaries, I love people. People love me. People are excited and proud to have me in their lives on a daily basis. They want me there. And you know what? They're fortunate to have me there because I bring a freaking lot to the table. And to hear me talk this way in my addiction and in my alcoholism and suffering from my anxiety, depression with the pit in the stomach, you know, the feeling of the anxiety and the panic. Please understand. Once you ask for help and begin to take the steps and stick with it when you're going through the tough times, especially at the extended play of the benzo stuff, you're gonna be so happy. I'm so happy. So somebody sent this to me. I'll read this real quick. Somebody sent this to me a couple days ago. And it reminded me of asking for help and going to the people that I loved and would do anything for, but was embarrassed to ask them to be vulnerable, to be weak. Believe me, vulnerable and weakness is the new strength. Stubbornness and strength is the new weakness. Please take that to heart. I've lived it. The best kind of person that can come into your life are the ones that make you see the sun where before you only saw clouds. It's that person in your life that believes in you so much that you have no choice but to believe in yourself too. It's that person that loves you, mistakes and all, simply for being you. It's that once in a lifetime kind of person. This is happiness. This is joy. I never even fucking knew what joy was. I have those people. They stood up. They showed up. I'm so grateful. I'm so blessed. I'm so lucky. Anxiety, depression, opioids, benzos, GAD, alcoholism. We get better. You will get better. I need help. I need help. 3 words that changed my life.